Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your AEW versus NXT results for July 22nd, 2020, your night before the Fallen episode of AEW. Well, Saturday evening, many new and returning faces made appearances at Impact Wrestling Slammiversary. For Saturday, here's a list of former WWE and TNA stars who returned. Motor City Machine Guns returned. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. They are former TNA Tag Team and X Division champions, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. As they disbanded after Shelley announced his in-ring retirement back in 2018. They were challenging the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander for the Impact World Tag Team Championship on Tuesday. Heath Miller, his real name, if you don't remember, he's got kids from WWE, formerly known as Heath Slater. This was his first appearance on Impact. He and Rhino are former WWE Tag Team Champions. Miller was released from the WWE contract in April. On this week's episode of Impact, or actually at Slammiversary, he was told he cannot be in the arena. But during the pay-per-view, Rhino told him to show up on Impact. Eric Young returned to Impact Wrestling as he is a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, 1 time, Tag Team Champion 2 times, X Division Champion 1 time, King of the Mountain 1 time. He returned during the main event match for the vacant Impact World Championship. He entered himself in the match, which became a 5-way elimination match. He was eliminated halfway through by Rich Swann. Young was let go from his contract in April from WWE. The Good Brothers, Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Gallows is a former TNA wrestler from 2011 to 2013. Remember Aces and Eights? This is Anderson's first time working for the company. Both men were dismissed from their WWE contracts in April. The night before Slammiversary, they announced that they both signed 2-year contracts with Impact, which also allows them to work in Japan. EC3, a former 2-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He left the company to go back to WWE in 2018. He, like the Good Brothers, Miller and Young, was dismissed from their contracts on the same day. He made his appearance at the very end of Slammiversary. He is set to make an appearance this week on Impact. I think he made an appearance by video. Impact Wrestling producer, talent, and creative team member Tommy Dreamer took to Twitter this week and shared a photo with several of the recently released WWE Superstars who have joined the company. Dreamer tweeted after last night's Impact episode on AXS TV on Tuesday night, and he commented on the former WWE Superstars taking advantage of an opportunity. He warned that things are about to get real. The photo included Dreamer, EC3, also Brian Myers, he wasn't at Slammiversary, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson. Opportunity came a-knocking, and they kicked the effing door down. Dreamer wrote, "It's about to get real at this link for your pictures." To show everyone giving the middle finger to the camera, except for Anderson, who makes a statement with another gesture. The former WWE Superstars were released as part of the company-wide cuts due to COVID-19 back in mid-April. They all became free agents last week after the 90-day no-compete clauses expired. EC3, Miller, EY, Gallows and Anderson had roles at Slammiversary pay-per-view. And on last night's Impact TV episode, Myers did not appear at the pay-per-view, but a new coming soon vignette did appear during the show on Impact on AXS. Impact is crediting the anticipated debuts with much of the success coming out of Slammiversary. It's clear that Impact currently has a buzz that they have not seen in several years. And if It will be interesting to see how they capitalize on the new fans they are making and the old fans they are bringing back to the product. AEW TNA champion Cody Rhodes recently spoke with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated and revealed his major respect for veteran WWE Superstar Rey Mysterio. Rhodes noted that he and Chris Jericho both agree that Mysterio is the greatest. The one thing that Chris Jericho and I can agree on is that there is nobody greater than Rey Mysterio, Rhodes stated. That's someone that is really special. WrestleMania 24 in 2011 saw Cody defeat Mysterio in singles action from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, where Cody has roots. Cody said Rey changed his whole career and is among those he credits for helping him to build his career, including his father and brother, Randy Orton and Big Show. They are all people I have given a lot of credit for helping me build my career, and they're not always the obvious ones, Cody said. Dusty and Dustin, of course, they were involved, but they're family. Rey Mysterio, I don't even know if he remembers, but he changed my whole career. Ray, Randy Orton, and Big Show are three people that put a great deal of work into carving out my skills as a wrestler. I didn't know nearly as much as they did, and I still don't. They were very important to me. On AEW Dynamite, at this link, it was announced that Women's Tag Team Tournament will happen this summer. The tournament is called the Women's Tag Team Cup Tournament. Obviously, you knew that was coming, some type of thing, because they got certain tag team for the women already had been teaming up, setting up this tournament. Well, it's called the Women's Tag Team Tournament, the Daily Draw, and it will feature 8 teams. No word on the format of the tournament or what the winners will receive. Well, Tag Team Championship, or just the little drinking cups. The teacup, just kidding about that. The Nightmare Sisters, Brandy, Rhodes, and Allie, are confirmed for a tournament. Obviously, they are the recent Nightmare Sisters tag team. Looks like there could be a tournament taking place for the WWE NXT UK brand in the near future as well. WWE filed a trademark to 2 names on July 20th. Heritage Cup and NXT UK Heritage Cup. AEW Dark link for this week can be found in this link, episode number 43. Former AEW champion Chris Jericho announced on Instagram that he has a new online show called Winnipeggers. The debut is this coming Thursday at 9 a.m. Well, I'm doing this video a few days late, and then it can be found in that link for you. Winnipeggers will feature his childhood friends and will be streaming on his official Facebook and YouTube accounts. Jericho wrote, this Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, check out the debut of my hilarious new show, Winnipeggers, featuring my 2 oldest friends at Dave_Spivak_Project_ and #Ribo on at Facebook and at YouTube. This week we bust each other's skills and delve into ridiculousness of #Dave's Letter. Graphic by at 97 Abdul Malik. Also noted, this week's WWE NXT episode will feature a huge announcement by NXT General Manager William Regal. WWE isn't saying much about what Regal has to reveal, but they issued the following teaser announcement on the announcement tonight. The Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, will make their official in-ring debuts for Impact Wrestling on Tuesday's taped AXS episode. It was announced on this week's show that the Good Brothers will go up against Reno Scum next Tuesday night. Last night's show saw Anderson and Doc Gallows cut a promo on signing with the company and took credit for the Slammiversary trending on social media this past weekend. Gallows noted that they came to Impact to create the recipe of what makes a great tag team, and they don't need a too sweet gesture to prove that. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton then interrupted and introduced themselves, also announcing that they are the best tag team in the world. A brawl broke out, but quickly ended with Gallows and Anderson clearing the ring. A later segment saw Austin and Fulton pull up the Good Brothers as they were leaving the arena, distracting them as Reno's come attacked from behind. Impact also announced the new World Heavyweight Champion, Eddie Edwards, will defend his title against Trey Miguel next week. Edwards appeared for a promo on the show just days after winning the vacant title at Slammiversary by defeating Miguel, Ace, Rich Swann, and the returning Eric Young in a fatal 5-way elimination match. Edwards talked about how stability has been missing from the Impact, and his goal on this new journey is to become a defending champion that the others in the back can be proud of. Well, if you watch my results for Slammiversary, you should see that at the end of towards the end of the video. I gave you the link. Edwards then announced that he will put the title on the line next week against anyone who wants to challenge him. EY then answered the challenge, but Edwards said he wasn't deserving. Edwards was disappointed with how EY acted and how he took out Swann at the pay-per-view. Young went on about how Impact belonged to him until Edwards dove out of the ring and they started brawling. Officials interrupted the fight and Miguel later confronted Edwards in the back, issuing a challenge. Edwards accepted the challenge and the match was made for next Tuesday. Next week's Impact show will also see premiere of the Wacky Wrestler Russell House storyline, which can be seen at this link, which is billed as Impact's all-new reality show. Russell House will feature Crazy Steve, Rosemary, Sue Young, Johnny Bravo, not the cartoon character, Taya Valkyrie, Kylie Ray, the Deaners, and several others. The YouTube description for the preview listed reads like this. When Taya Valkyrie crashes Rosemary and Johnny Bravo's a long time, some of the Impact's most colorful characters are transported into the same space to create a bizarre new reality show, Russell House. Chris Jericho's third cruise for wrestling fans has been postponed due to coronavirus pandemic. It was announced that Chris Jericho's Rockin' Wrestling Racer SC Triple Whammy will now sail from Miami, Florida to Grand Bahama Island on Thursday, October 21st, 2021, through Monday, October 25th, 2021. Previous dates were February 1st, 2021 through February 5th, 2021. Wow, this is another year delay on coronavirus crap. After careful consideration and caution for everyone's health and safety, we have made the difficult but necessary decision to postpone the Triple Whammy. We will now sail October 21st through 25th, 2021 from Miami, Florida to Grand Bahama Island. The official Twitter account for the cruise posted the news today, which was a few days ago. I copied and pasted it. It was previously announced that a live episode of AEW Dynamite would air from the cruise on Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021. The new dates run from Thursday to Monday, which is always possible that TNT airs some sort of live AEW special from the ship, as they've done for the previous two. The cruise has been sold out since June. So if you still have your tickets, just hold on to them. They may be redeemable for that later date, another year in advance. Just like when WWE was in town, here they canceled the show. They rescheduled it and then totally canceled it. AEW wrestler Sonny Kiss joined Chris Jericho on the Talking Jericho podcast after his match against Cody Rhodes for TNT Championship. They talked about Kiss' rise in AEW as well as his beginnings that started with AEW Chief Brand Officer Brandy Rhodes contacting Kiss for Double or Nothing. So Brandy slid it into my DMs. I always say it like that. Kiss laughingly stated, "It's always just so funny." She messaged me, "Hi, Sonny. It's nice to meet you. Would you like to come to a show? Are you signed anywhere?" I was like, "Yes, but I could still do other bookings." Kiss was signed with Lucha Underground at the time, but his contract allowed him to work with AEW as they had a partnership at the time. However, Kiss called the contract details a nightmare, saying that Lucha Underground talents were only making around $4,000 a year. It was a nightmare. We were probably making maybe making $4,000 a year, Kiss revealed. We couldn't sign it anywhere else at all. There were times that I couldn't pay my cell phone bill. I couldn't contribute to my rent. It was bad. Many Lucha Underground top talent eventually got out of their contracts with the Lucha Underground, including the Lucha Brothers. Kiss stated that he was one of the last people to get out of their Lucha Underground contract, and he revealed that he didn't sign a contract with AEW until October when Dynamite started. They were amongst the first to get out, though. I was amongst the last, Kiss noted. Cody was like, "Don't worry, we're still going to book you to the moon. We'll make sure you're still here," which was great. I really appreciate him for that. January was when they announced AEW. I didn't get the contract until TV happened. Jericho asked if Brandy had watched Lucha Underground and was impressed with Kiss's work. Kiss admits it. He hasn't talked to Brandy about that, and also talks about how he thought All In 2 was what he was being contacted for, not known AEW was going to be a promotion. I don't know. We never had that conversation, Kiss admitted. She just DM'd me on Instagram. I'm actually thinking it was going to be all in 2. I actually didn't know AEW was a thing back then. I just knew it was an event that was happening in Vegas. And I'm thinking, all right, this is just all in 2. This is going to be a promotion. Then they announced it in January, and I was like, holy snap. Whoa. During his entrance before his match against Cody, Kiss had the Jacksonville Jaguars cheerleaders with his similar to Fight for the Fallen. Kiss said that it feels like tradition now and said that he wanted the entrance to be bigger since it was a big match for him. He also said that he was the one that created the dance choreography for the entrance, having choreographed dance moves since he was a kid. It's a tradition now at this point, Kiss stated. I did at Fight for the Fallen last year. Then TK, Tony Khan, and Cody were like, let's do it again this year. I did want to amp it up a little bit. It was a big match for me, obviously. So I had to get the big choreography with the big match. Last year, they only gave us a half hour to prepare. This year, we had a little more time with a couple more rehearsed. Last year, we only rehearsed it once. This time, we rehearsed it a couple of times on the stage. I've been choreographing moves since I was 8 years old. In June, Dustin Rhodes announced he was starting a wrestling school. Today, the official Twitter for Rhodes Wrestling Academy revealed the launch date for the school is next year in January. The school will also be located outside of Austin, Texas. We are planning on launching January 2021. Stay tuned in the coming weeks for sign-up info. I will be very hands-on training. For your info, school will be outside of Austin, Texas, announced Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Earlier this week, Dustin Rhodes explained more about Rhodes Wrestling Academy to a Twitter user. He called the school a developmental academy, and that it's completely his project. Dustin explained, is it a developmental academy? Fresh Young? It is a developmental academy, kind of like that FCW was the one that turned into NXT. Fresh, young, new prospects that have a dream of one day wrestling in front of thousands of people. This is completely my project, and a project that I have dreamt about for a long time. Lots of knowledge in my years. And on to the NXT results. Thanks to the courtesy of Wrestling Inc. for the results from Full Sail University. Tonight's NXT episode opened up from with NXT General Manager William Regal, talking about how Keith Lee recently became double belts NXT Champion and North American Champion. Regal, by video, says Lee has asked for time to address the NXT universe. We cut to Lee, who was also speaking by pre-recorded segment. Lee also talked about his historic title win over Adam Cole 2 weeks ago. Lee goes on about realizing what it takes to get to the top and says he will enjoy being limitless, but he doesn't want to limit anyone else. Lee announces that he will continue to defend the NXT title, but he is relinquishing the North American title. He says this was not an easy decision, but he wants everyone to have the same opportunity that he had. Lee wraps his speech, and Regal announces that there will be a series of triple threat matches that begin tonight. The winners all will then go on to take over on August 22nd in a ladder match to crown the new NXT North American Champion. Live from the Lake from the NXT Arena on the campus of Full Sail University, Mauro Ranallo welcomes us. Mauro is not in the arena once again this week. He's joined by Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, and she's also calling the action from home. The developmental trainees cheer in the crowd as we go to the ring. First match, Dexter Lumis versus Killian Dane. Formerly of Sanity. Well, there we go. Dexter Lumis makes his way out first. Killian Dane was out next as Alicia Taylor does ring introductions. They go at it, and Dane overpowers early on. Lumis with some mind games. Lumis slithers to the floor and then back in, keeping a stare locked on Dane. They tackle some on the floor, and Dane levels Lumis. Lumis is down, and Dane breaks a count. Tom Phillips also with Mauro and Beth tonight. Dane goes back out and keeps the attack going on Lumis, sending him into the plexiglass. Dane ends up hitting a big guillotine leg drop after bringing it in the ring. Dane keeps control and covers for a 2 count as go to commercial. Back to the ring. Dane continues to beat on Lumis in the middle of the ring. Dane with a big knee to the face. Dane looks to charge, but Lumis catches him with a big spine buster. Lumis with the right hand. Dane fights back, but Lumis hits a Tez press and more strikes. Lumis with a belly suplex and a big leg drop for another 2 count. Dane avoids a big senton and then hits a huge drop kick into the corner. Dane with a corner cannonball of his own. Dane goes on and hits a powerbomb, then drops an elbow for a 2 count. They tackle some, and Lumis hits a Uranagi. More back and forth. They go to the top. Lumis knocks Dane to the mat. Lumis with a big senton, but Dane comes right back up. Lumis ends up grounding Dane in a submission. As he starts fade, Dane passes out for the finish. Winner of the match, Dexter Lumis. Action match, Lumis stand tall. Music plays. We go to replays as Lumis stares out. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Roger Strong. He says he sees the North American title situation as a way for the Undisputed Era to get back on top. Bonds and Reed interrupt, and they have words with Reed confident about his chances. Johnny Gargano then interrupts and mocks them both, commenting about how he will go on to make history again and win the North American title. We get a video package with Dakota Kai taunting NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai over taking her out last week. Back to commercial. Next up, we got tag team action. We got Ever Rise versus Breezango. We'll go back to the ring. Here comes Matt Martell and Chad Parker of Ever Rise. The Mounties, familiar music plays, and we get Fandango and Tyler Breeze dressed up as the Mounties. The normal music resumes as they hit the ring, dressed like the Mountie. Breeze starts off with Parker as they go at it. Breeze drops his opponent with a big shoulder, then shows off in the corner with a pose. More back and forth between the two, with Breeze getting the upper hand. Martell tries to rally for his partner. Breeze with a supermodel kick that sends him off the apron. Parker uses that to take advantage and drop Breeze. Martell comes in and unloads on Breeze at ringside, stomping away and sending him into the plexiglass. Martell brings Breeze back in and drops an elbow. Martell then rips Breeze into the corner. And then comes Parker for some double teaming. Breeze counters a move, and then comes Fandango. Parker also comes in, and they go at it. Fandango with chops and a big back chop. Fandango fights off both opponents, now for a pop. Fandango comes back to the top, with the 2 Mountie hats on, hits a Mountie dive from the ring post to both opponents on the floor. The crowd pops for the dive. Fandango brings it back in the ring, and Breezango hits a double super kicks to both opponents. Breeze covers Parker in the middle of the ring for the pin and the win. After the match, Breezango poses as the music hits. We go to replays, come back to celebration, continuing. We go to Tom at the announce table. He hypes to take over ladder match and carry across versus dominant Dijakovic. Tom sends us to McKenzie backstage with Dijakovic. Now, he talks about how Cross attacked him last week and warns that Cross will be getting a fresh version this week. Dijakovic goes on and threatens to leave Cross unconscious tonight. He walks off and we go to commercial. Back for the ring, we see how Io Shirai tweeted a response to Dakota Kai, warning her about consequences to her actions. Aya versus Shotzi Blackheart. What's up next? We go back to the ring. Out comes Aya with Robert Stone and the Robert Stone brand. Stone is wearing a walking boot after his last one in with Aya's opponent. The music hits and out comes Shotzi Blackheart, riding her mini tank to the ring again. She apparently runs into Stone's injured foot again. The bell rings and they go at it. Shotzi unloads and takes Aya down first. Shotzi yells at Aya and drops the leg drop. Shotzi with a reverse senton against the ropes as Stone tries to talk to Aya. Blackheart misses the move and lands on her feet on the floor. Stone yells at her. Aya takes advantage and drops Shotzi on the outside. Stone barks orders as Aya brings it back in for a two count. Aya keeps control and slams Shotzi face first into the mat. Aya shows off some as the crowd boos her. Aya with a snap suplex into a float over, then into a Northern Light suplex. Shotzi still kicks out at two. Aya grounds Shotzi now as Stone looks on. More back and forth between the two. Shotzi with a running splash in the corner, then a running bulldog. Blackheart with kicks with more strikes. Shotzi just grabs Aya and dumps her on her head. Aya still kicks out at two. Aya ends up rolling Blackheart out of the corner, but the referee catches her using her feet on the ropes for leverage. Stone yells from the ringside, but Aya gets leveled by a drop kick. Shotzi drops Aya on her neck now. Shotzi goes back to the apron to go to the top. Stone gets on the apron for the attraction, but Shotzi knocks him off with a big kick, and he lands on the floor, selling the ankle injury again. Shotzi climbs to the top, hits a big senton for the pin and the win. Winner of the match, Shotzi Blackheart. After the match, Shotzi stands tall as the music plays again. With replays. Shotzi then taunts Stone and drives her tank over his hurt leg again. Stone yells out in pain. Mercedes Martinez suddenly attacks out of nowhere and levels Shotzi to booze. Martinez stares Blackheart down. Aya checks on Stone, looking up at Martinez in fear. Mercedes also stares Stone and Aya down. Martinez makes her exit without saying anything. So comes segment. Reed versus Gargano versus Strong back commercial. Back to the rate, we get a video package of Isaiah Swerve Scott. He talks about his music career and his wrestling career. He sends a message to NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar that says the next time that they step in the ring, there will be a new champion. Triple threat ladder match qualifier. Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed versus Roddy Strong. We go to the ring for the first triple threat to determine participants for the TakeOver 30 ladder match for the vacant NXT North American title. Johnny Gargano's out first. He stops and looks at the title belt on display. Bronson Reed is out next. Roddy Strong was out last, representing the Undisputed Era. The bell rings and they all take each other up. Reed drops his opponents first. Strong charges, but Reed knocks him out of the air. Strong joins Gargano on the floor for a breather. They offer to team up and go for Reed, but can't trust each other, and Gargano gets hit. Reed ends up bringing Strong in the ring and running him over. Gargano comes in and Reed blocks him, then slams him for a pop. Strong attacks Reed and works him over. Reed fights Strong off with ease. Reed scoops Strong on his shoulders, but Gargano leaps for a crossbody. Reed catches Gargano, but Strong nails him from behind. Reed blocks an Olympic slam. Gargano with an insecurity to Strong. Reed gets the best of both opponents once again, sending him back to the floor to regroup. Reed stands tall in the middle of the ring as we go to commercial. Back to the ring, Reed fights off Gargano, then slices Strong in the corner. Gargano takes a big back splash next. Reed runs the ropes for a dive to the floor on Gargano, but Strong cuts him off with a drop kick. Strong beats Reed into the corner now. Strong mounts Reed in the corner again with lefts and rights. Gargano comes in and also unloads on Reed in the corner. Strong nails him pulls him off as they both take turns on Reed, beating him down in the corner to moves. Strong and Gargano both take turns with big chops on Reed in the corner now. Reed fights out with chops of his own, but Strong takes the knee out. Reed sends Strong and Gargano into each other, then dropping them again. Strong comes back with an enziguri to send Reed back down to one knee. Strong tries to hit the double underhook on Reed, but Reed back drops him. Gargano goes on and catapults Strong's face into Reed below the belt. Gargano ends up hitting a big slingshot spear to Strong as he runs the ropes. Gargano with a suicide dive to Reed on the floor. Strong goes out and drops Gargano with a backbreaker for a close 2 count. Strong goes for the stronghold on Gargano, but here comes Reed back in. Reed with a big forearm to Strong and a Manhattan drop. Then by just an elbow, that's a bionic elbow. Reed goes to work on Gargano. Now, Wrestling Inc., do you even know your moves yourself? That's the bionic elbow, not just an elbow. Using them both against each other with a big combo move as the crowd rallies. Reed splashes them into the corner and hits a senton on Strong for the pin attempt. All 3 competitors trade offense. Reed presses Gargano in the air, but Strong takes Reed's knee out from behind. Strong goes for the Olympic slam again, and Gargano misses the enziguri. Strong hits it, and Gargano sends him to the floor. Gargano goes on, but Reed kicks out too. Gargano super kicks Reed while he's stuck in the ropes. Strong runs in with a backbreaker to Gargano. Strong with a running forearm to Reed while he's still on the ropes. Gargano sends Strong to the floor. Strong and Gargano tangle at ringside now. Reed runs and hits a big plancha to the floor. We've got a commercial with all 3 competitors down the ringside. Back for the break. All 3 are trading big chops in the middle of the ring. Reed drops them both for a pop. Reed runs into Strong's boot. And again, Strong goes to the top, but Reed decks him. Reed places Gargano on his shoulders, then Strong at the same time. Reed with a huge double following slam in the middle of the ring. Reed covers Gargano, but he kicks out too. Reed grabs Strong and takes him to the top, chopping him. Reed rocks Strong again and climbs up, but Gargano cuts him off. The crowd tries to rally for Reed. Gargano drops Reed and climbs up with Strong. Strong fights back. Gargano is now on Reed's shoulders in the electric chair position. Strong leaps, but Gargano counters and spikes Reed in the mat. Strong tries to seal the win with a knee strike, but Gargano breaks the pin up with a super kick. If you're down on the mat, how can you get a super kick? The super kick goes up in the air. Never mind. Again, wrong move call. All 3 are down on their backs as the referee checks on them. The crowd rallies. They all trade strikes again. Reed drops Strong. Gargano tries to bring Reed to the floor from the apron. Strong charges with a knee to the face of Reed, which sends Reed to the floor with a big powerbomb from Gargano. The crowd goes wild. Strong and Gargano are in the ring going at it now. Strong with a big knee to the face in the corner and a suplex. Dropping Gargano on his head. Strong covers for a close 2 count. Gargano counters a powerbomb from Strong. They tangle and Gargano goes for the Gargano escape, but it's blocked. More back and forth between the 2. Gargano super kicks Strong, then launches him face first in the turnbuckles like a lawn dart. Strong avoids the super kick. Strong lifts Gargano and drops him into the gutbuster. Gargano comes right back with a enziguri from the apron. Gargano launches himself at Strong with a huge one final beat. Gargano looks to put Strong away, but in comes Reed out of nowhere, hitting a huge top rope splash on Strong for the pin to earn the spot at TakeOver. After the match, music hits and Reed celebrates. Gargano and Strong try to recover, disappointed. Go to replays. Reed yells at the camera about his opportunity as the announcers declare he's going to take over for the ladder match. Still to come, Timothy Thatcher versus One Lorcan. That's commercial. And that match is up next. Back from the break, out comes Timothy. He marches to the ring and it's all business. Lorcan was out next for this Great American Bash rematch, which Thatcher won by submission. There are rings and he psychs each other up. We get a feel before locking up. Thatcher takes Lorcan down first. They come back and trade holds. Going back down for more back and forth. Thatcher works on the arm. Lorcan takes control. Right back as the mat wrestling continues. They get back to their feet, but Thatcher takes Lorcan down with a body scissors. Lorcan counters, but Thatcher nails an open palm strike to the face. They get up and Lorcan fires back with big strikes of his own. Thatcher with a belly-to-belly suplex, but Lorcan kicks out too. Thatcher grounds Lorcan as the crowd challenges Raleigh. They tangle on their feet. Some more. Thatcher with a big one-arm suplex into another. 2 count. The clinic continues, but we finally get some explosive action as Lorcan unloads. Thatcher pulls Lorcan to the floor and works on the arm some more. Lorcan sends Thatcher to shoulder first at the ring post as the referee counts. Go to commercial. Back from the break, Thatcher is working Lorcan over in the corner. Thatcher beats on Lorcan in the middle of the ring now. Pounding on him, Thatcher runs into a fist and a boot in the corner. Lorcan comes off the turnbuckle with a diving European uppercut for a pop from the crowd. More back and forth. They trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Lorcan with a single leg, but Thatcher hangs on and fights back. Lorcan mounts some offense again and levels Thatcher for a 2 count. Lorcan with a chop, then with chops on their feet, but Thatcher blocks. More back and forth action. They're trading holds on their feet again. Thatcher ends up countering and taking Lorcan down into a unique pin for the win. After the match, Lorcan sits up. He can't believe how he lost. Thatcher heads up the ramp and stares back at Lorcan as he goes to replays. McKenzie tries to approach Robert Stone and now you're backstage for comments, but she's dismissed because Stone is in pain. Still selling the ankle injury, Mercedes Martinez walks up. She says she needs someone to handle the contracts, set up the big matches, and to do the crap she doesn't care about, the stuff outside the ring. The way she can focus on what she does best, hurting people in the ring. Got it? Stone says she's crystal clear. He's her man. Mercedes warns him to not overstep his boundaries because she will permanently break both his legs. Understood? Done. Stone tells Alia to help him up, as she does. Stone offers her his hand for a shake and welcomes Mercedes to the Robert Stone brand. Mercedes shakes his hand and walks off. Stone and Alia celebrate, but Stone goes back down selling ankle injury. So to come segment, Cross versus Cody for your main event. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a video package from Finn Balor. He takes shots at Keith Lee over the NXT North American title. He also takes shots at Dexter Lumis and Timothy Thatcher, revealing that they will face off in another triple threat qualifier for TakeOver next week. And your main event, Karrion Kross versus Dijakovic. Or Dijakovic. Out first comes Karrion Kross and Scarlett with their unique entrance. Dominic is out next. The bell rings in the middle ring, tearing each other down. Kross smirks as they lock up. Going into the ropes and in the corner, they finally break the lock up with aggression. They tear each other down and lock up again, and Scarlett looks on. They go to the ropes, and Kross strikes. Kross takes Dominic down and grounds him to one knee with the front face off. And Dominic drives Kross back in the corner. Kross still has the lock applied. As Dijakovic drops Kross back again, but Kross keeps the hold locked in. Dijakovic powers up with Kross on his shoulders for the feature eyes. They tangle, and he can't hit it. Dominic avoids the Doomsday Saito suplex, but Dominic unloads and knocks Kross to the floor. And follows, but Kross rocks him. Kross goes to deliver the big right hand, but Dominic moves and Kross punches the plexiglass. And Dominic comes back and kicks Kross to the floor. Referee counts, and Dominic brings him back in the ring. Dominic runs into a big boot in the corner. Kross mounts offense and drops Dominic on his head in the middle of the ring with a big DDT. Kross sits up and looks around, taking his time as he goes to commercial. Back from the break, Kross is in control, keeping Dominic grounded after dominating through the break. As Dominic fights up and out of a hold, Dominic looks him out offense now, but Kross launches him with big Doomsday Saito. Kross yells out as the crowd pops. Dominic counters the Kross jacket. They go back and forth for a second, but Dominic rocks Kross with a huge right hand. The crowd rallies, and Scarlett cheers her man on as they meet in the middle of the ring. Dominic beats Kross in the corner. Dominic launches Kross across the ring, and Scarlett watches. Dominic with a big choke slam bomb, but Kross easily kicks out. Kross goes to the floor for a breather. Dominic runs the ropes and leaps out with a big suicide dive for a pop from the crowd. Cross counters the move and sends Dominic face first to the steel ring steps. Cross puts a boot to Dominic against the steps, keeping him down as the referee counts. Cross steps back and runs, smashing the top half of the steps into Dominic with a running boot. The crowd boos. Referee comes out and checks on Dominic, telling Cross to get back in the ring, saying it's over. The referee starts counting again while Dominic is still laid out against the steps. Cross goes back out and the referee asks him what he's doing. Cross brings a motionless Dominic back into the ring as the boos get louder. Cross mounts Dominic, who falls flat on his back now. Cross delivers big forearm shots to the face. NXT champion Keith Lee comes down, walking down the ringside. Cross sees Lee and looks up at him while keeping Dominic down. Cross gets off of Dominic, who was trying to get up, but he's dazed. Lee shakes his head and looks worried for his friend. Cross goes back to mounting Dominic, delivering a few more strikes. Lee looks on, concerned, as the crowd boos. Cross picks Dominic back up, making him face Lee. Cross asks Lee if he's watching. Cross aggressively applies the cross jacket submission, forcing Lee to watch. Dominic tries to hang on, but he starts fading and eventually goes out for the finish. After the bell, Lee immediately rolls into the ring and checks on Dominic. Cross takes a few steps back and stares at Lee. Cross has his arm raised by the referee as his music starts up and the boos continue. We go to replay. Scarlett joins Cross at ringside now as she looks on laughing. Cross just stares at the ring as Lee and several referees check on Dominic, then call for help from the back. NXT goes off the air with a satisfied Cross looking on. AEW Dynamite's results. Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, and Excalibur on commentary this week. It's Chris Jericho. Not for the first part. Justin Roberts handling ring introductions duties. Cody with Arn Anderson in the corner versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW TNT Championship. The new challenger. As normal, the TNT Championship match starts the show. Before the match gets started, Kingston walks out to the stage with a microphone. Talks about Cody, always saying he's grinding in life and wrestling. But that probably wasn't so bad when he's around wrestling has-beens. Kingston says he's been around junkies and alcoholics growing up. Now that's grinding. Kingston says he's grown, man, and will put Cody in the ground and smile if he tries to preach to him about anything. Kingston says Tony Khan paid him to show and to kick Cody's butt. Kingston keeps telling Anderson to stop staring at him like that or I'll gouge your eye out. Kingston says that match will be DQ. But Cody has to accept that. He talks Cody some more. Cody accepts. Cody talks up to Double A as Roberts announced it's no DQ match. Kingston attacks Cody from behind. The two spill out to the floor. Both trade punches. Cody sends Kingston back in the ring. Kingston takes him down with a single leg and punches. In the corner, Kingston lands a bunch of chops. Cody with an uppercut, disaster kick lands, sending Kingston out to the floor. Cody hits ropes and lands a suicide dive. Missile drop kick by Cody. Kingston checking out his knee on the floor. Cody takes weight belt off and brings it out to the floor with him. Kingston takes the belt and smacks Cody a few times. Kingston removes the protective padding, looks for a move, but gets his back body dropped on the floor with the exposed area. Back in the ring, Kingston gets the momentum back and works over Cody. Kicks to the back, dragon sleeper locks into Cody. Cody is able to work his way out of the submission, throws a few shots, kicks him with another eye poke. He tries for a back suplex. Cody lands on his feet, hits a chop block on Kingston's already banged up leg. Cody tries to send Kingston across the ring as his leg goes out on him. Cody goes over and takes a low blow. Then a DDT. Kingston goes under the ring and pulls out a bag. He dumps a whole lot of thumbtacks in the middle of the ring. Kingston yells, "Fight me," to Cody while landing more shots. Kingston tries for a body slam. Cody gets out of it. Drop kick to the knee. Kingston then powerbombs Cody on the tacks. Cody has a whole lot of tacks in his back after that move. Ouch. Cody is hit into the corner, but somehow lands a big clothesline on his opponent. He goes for a figure four, kicks him with some slaps to the face. Cody fires back with some of his own. Cody then is able to lock in the figure four and kicks and ends up tapping out. Winner of the match by submission, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Backstage, AEW World Champion Jon Moxley says he's the kind of guy who, when he says something, he'll do it. Just like when he told Taz that he was going to tear Brian Cage's arm apart. Moxley said Cage was very close to another 6 months of rehab, and Taz made the right thing by throwing in the towel. But next time, Moxley says he's not going to let go. MJF and Wardlow versus Griff Garrison. Before the match, MJF gets on the mic and tells Garrison he looks ready to go, but a bit nervous. It's understandable because he's in the ring with the Prodigy. MJF then asks Jungle Boy to tell the fans who he is. Of course, he's not Jungle Boy. He's got curly hair like him, but nothing more than that. Garrison says, "That's not my name. I'm Griff Garrison. Double G." I just call him Double G. MJF rips on his opponent a bit more. He asks Griff how cool it is to share the ring with someone who is undefeated. Garrison brings up that MJF lost a tag match. MJF says he brings up a good point and smacks him in the head with the microphone. Bell rings and MJF launches Garrison hard into the corner, then chokes him with his boot. MJF continues to work over his opponent out on the floor before finally sending him into the ring. MJF takes the microphone and tells Garrison that they may have gotten off on the wrong foot. MJF didn't appreciate Griff saying he's been beat. "I've never been pinned. I've never been submitted." MJF then wants Griff to tell everyone he's undefeated. Garrison smacks the microphone away. MJF then steps on his finger. Griff just yells out in pain. MJF then yells one more time to say it. Griff finally says, "You're undefeated." Griff pops the microphone back in MJF's face. Roll up 2 count. MJF backs back up and swings away on his opponent before moving him into the apron. MJF with the heat seeker pile driver for the pin and the win. Backstage, Tony Schiavone talks to Rebel or Reba, whatever her name is, about Britt Baker and how she's doing after her nose surgery. She goes to talk, but Baker yells for her to come back and help her. Baker talks about being a role model and how she was able to finish out a match after her nose was busted open. Baker says she'll come back. Her comeback will be the best ever. Better than Michael Jordan. Tony and Rebel both interrupt her, and she tells them both to shut the heck up. Baker says she's the Michael Jordan, and nobody should count her out all out. Taz says he and Brian Cage had some issues after he threw the towel in on Cage, but cool. Cool heads prevailed. Taz said he'll continue to work with Cage. Taz says he'll be danged if he was going to stand at ringside and watch Cage's bicep tend to tore for a second time. He says behind what he did as a business decision. Taz says Cage will never, ever be in that position again. He says Cage has an FTW mindset, and out comes Darby Allin. He gets in the ring, but Ricky Starks attacks him from behind. Cage then power bombs all in twice on the stage, then power bombs him in the ring. Starks then picks up and plants all in the ring. Starks grabs the skateboard, gives it to Cage, but Moxley runs out through the crowd with a barbed wire bat and chases everyone off. Commentary noting Starks looks to have a business relationship with Taz. It was noted Starks helped out Cage on last night's AEW Dark. This summer, 16 women, 8 teams, AEW Tag Team Cup Tournament. The Deadly Draw. Deadly Draw? If they're going to call it Draw, I wonder if it's going to be like the original whichever. Whoever your tag team partner is, you have to win to advance. But it's just a tag team. Backstage, Chris Jericho talks with Alex Marvez, and he's still annoyed that Orange Cassidy ruined his $7,000 jacket. And by the way, what does my shirt say? Orange Beach. Could that be it? Is that named after Orange Cassidy? Just fun. Get it? Jericho says he's going to embarrass him. And Inner Circle will embarrass Jurassic Express because they thought what happened to him was funny. Jericho mentioned that Luchasaurus isn't really a dinosaur, but they are going to make him extinct. He then asked Santana if his jacket still smells like orange juice. He says it does. Jericho walks off. Dang it. Young Bucks versus Butcher the Blade. Falls Count Anywhere match. Backstage, Young Bucks with a referee. Matt says they want to get things going right now. They end up in the kitchen where the Butcher and the Blade are already hanging out. Supposedly, get the Butcher. The two teams start. Well, it's nothing more than a concession stand area, swinging away at each other. Nick kicks the table into the Blade, leaps off of it on Butcher. He's caught and then sent down to the floor. Blade power bombs him on a metal table. Covers for a 2 count. Things spill out of the kitchen. Both teams battle around the backstage area. Matt gets thrown into the back of an 18-wheeler. Nick gets hit into the side of the truck as Blade and Butcher look to have gained some control. Matt comes running out of a trailer and hits gets hit sit down on both opponents. Blade sent into some metal equipment. Nick with a cookie sheet upside Butcher's head. Butcher is put on the table. Matt leaps down on him with a leg drop. While using the cookie sheet, now you know how RVD does a chair. Oops, cookie sheet. But the table doesn't break. Blade trying to get away and makes his way to the escalator. Double super kick knocks him on the escalator, and Blade is taken almost all the way up the escalator. Two teams make their way back to ringside. Blade uses a chair on the brothers. Butcher Blade brings out the table and leaves it against the barricade. Nick sent over the barricade. Matt almost powerbombed through the table, fights his way off and drops Blade. Nick jumps off the barricade with a spinning heel kick. Blade goes for a senton out of the ring, and there's nobody there. He barely clips the table. It doesn't break, but landed weirdly. Butcher then does a running crossbody, putting Matt through another table leaned up against the barricade. Butcher tripped up by Matt, almost like a drop toe hold. Nick launches a chair in his face. Nick with a fury of kicks, bulldog drop kick combo, covers for a 2 count. Matt looks to have a busted nose. Blade works back into the match. Sends Nick over the top rope. Then clotheslines Matt out to the ramp. Powerbomb neck breaker combo on Matt out on the stage. Butcher and Blade bring out more tables and set them up on the stage. Everyone is landing big shots now. Double super kick on Butcher. BTE trigger on Blade. He's put on the table. Double super kicks on Butcher. And he's put on the other table. Matt and Nick each climb up the stage scaffolding. Elbow drop by Matt. Senton by Nick. Pin for the 3 count. Winner by pinfall, the Young Bucks. Backstage, Lance Archer with Jake Roberts talk with Alex Marvez. Roberts talks about how Archer being really frustrated, sitting around like used furniture while he's talking. Archer beats the crap out of a bunch of guys in the locker room. Archer comes over and mumbles some stuff, then says everybody dies and shows Marvez. Ivelisse versus Diamante. Ivelisse swings away on Diamante. And this is, I think this is Ivelisse's second appearance or debut. But Diamante fires back and hits an arm drag. Ivelisse gives one back to Diamante. Commentary cut to Big Swole, who is still at home due to her suspension. Big Swole says what bothers her about Baker is that she thinks that she can get away with anything and not worry about the consequences. Swole says at some point, Brittle Brittany, fragile butt, is going to have to meet her in the ring and face some consequences. Out on the floor, Ivelisse with a big shot. Diamante hits back and sends her into the barricade. Then the apron. Back and forth shots from both women. Back in the ring, Ivelisse drops Diamante. Covers for a 2 count. Kick to the back. Rear naked choke is locked in. Diamante gets out of it. Then wrenches on Ibalisa's neck. Flurry of shots from both wrestlers. Diamante lands a couple of clotheslines. Release German suplex. Pin for a 2 count. Ibalisa lands a powerbomb. Covers for a 2 count. Ibalisa hits the ropes. Diamante charges. Quick inside cradle. And gets a win. Winner by pinfall. Diamante. Hangman Page versus number 5 from the Dark Order, who is none other than Alan Angels. Big shots by Page to start the match. 5 throws a chop, but Page laps it up and swings back. Page tries for a suplex. 5 lands on his feet. Uses his agility for a moment, but Page catches him with a big boot. 5 avoids the clothesline, ends up on the apron. Big boot sends him flying back to the barricade. 5 is hitting the barricade a few times. He's hit 5 into the ring, and out comes the Dark Order, minus Brody Lee on the stage. 5 gets some momentum on Page. Running senton, second rope moonsault, but Page gets the knees up. Page with a big last ride style power bomb, covers, and that'll do it. Winner by pinfall, Hangman Page. After the match, Dark Order looked annoyed at the outcome of the match. Page is asking them if they want to come into the ring. Lee and Colt then make their way out to the stage. Lee heads in to the ring with a microphone to talk with Page. Brody says he's been nothing but impressed with Page in AEW. Lee says he's not impressed with his lack of friends when he's in immediate danger. Lee says he's not looking to fight, but the Dark Order could protect him. Not in a bar or in a ring. He makes an offer to join and gives Page the microphone. Page says he appreciates what Lee is saying, but he's not sure he's ready to join a cult right now. Lee says Page just made his bed and hopes Page enjoys sleeping. He walks out and says something to Uno. Lee then takes Colt to the back. Most of the Dark Order heads in and fights Page. Numbers game gets the best of Page. FTR runs out with a cooler, launches it into Silver and Riddles. FTR then clears out Uno and Grayson. Omega then runs out. It's a bit late. He notices that FTR already there. Page takes FTR, then takes a beer from them. Dark Order head off to the back while Omega checks on Page. They advertise next week's matches. Hangman Page and Kenny Omega championship match versus the Evil Uno and Grayson. Hikaru Shida versus Diamante non-title match. Darby Allin and Jon Moxley tag team versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks with Taz in the corner tornado tag match. Cody to defend the AEW TNT championship in probably, as usual, first match of the night. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager with Santana and Ortiz versus Lucha House Party, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Jericho and JB get things started. Jericho gets the initial attack, but JB lands a fury of attacks that sends Jericho reeling to his corner so he can tag in Hager. Luchasaurus tags in, and the 2 big men meet in the middle of the ring. Big shots by both wrestlers. Hager able to drop his opponent and get his ankle lock submission. Jericho tags in and gets a few shots in. Then brings Hager right back in. Luchasaurus fights back. Chop block by Hager. Brings him down. JB able to tag in. Lands a Hurricanrana on Jericho. Covers for a 2 count. Kicks, then sends Jericho into the steps. Ducks a clothesline. Suicide dive on Santana and Ortiz. Leaves in for swinging DDT. Stunt now gets involved when the referee is distracted. Nearly costs Jericho the match. Stunt gets back up on the apron and yells, but Jericho punches him in the face, knocking him to the floor. Jericho with a delayed vertical suplex on JB. Covers for a 2 count. JB gets up on the second rope, chops to the chest. Jericho heads up, tries for a superplex. JB chops Jericho down face first, then hits big crossbody, covers for a 2 count. Luchasaurus ear looks like to be bleeding pretty good. Jericho able to get up and tag in Hager. Elbow drop by Hager. He works over JB, tosses him into the corner, charges in, nobody home. JB tries to tag out. Hager knocks Luchasaurus back. Jericho tags back in. He now has his trusty bat. Aubrey stands between Jericho and JB. She's shoving Jericho now and tells him to ditch the bat. Back suplex by Jericho. JB rolls up Jericho. 2 count. Leaping clothesline. Hager able to get the tag. Lands some big knees on Jericho. On JB. Jericho tag gets in and they chop away at JB. JB able to land a double DDT on both guys and tags in Luchasaurus, who keeps both opponents grounded. He ties multiple kicks. Part 2, and your conclusion to AEW Dynamite. Get off the spot. Okay, Jericho gets in and they chop away at JB. JB able to land a double DDT on both guys. Tags in Luchasaurus, who keeps both opponents on the ground. He ties for a double choke slam. They break free. He lands multiple kicks on both guys. Everyone is dropping everyone now. Santana and Ortiz yell at the referee. Something with a drop kick on Jericho. And he goes right into the roundhouse kick by Luchasaurus. Spinning kick to the head by Luchasaurus covers for a 2 count. JB takes both Santana and Ortiz. Luchasaurus looks for a chokeslam on Jericho. Sir Pedico jumps on the apron and whacks Luchasaurus on the back with Jericho's bat. Jericho hits his code breaker, covers for a 2 count. 1, 2, 3. It covers for the 3 count. Winner by pinfall. Jericho, Hager. Don't know who this Sir Pedico character is. But anyways, after the match, in a circle beat up Jurassic Express. Sir Pedico goes up top, hits a shooting star press on Luchasaurus. He then takes his mask off, and it's none other than Sammy Guevara. I did see that part of it. I was having issues with my satellite feed. Looks like he's back on TV after being suspended for a month. Inner Circle continued to beat up the other group. Orange Cassidy's music hits, and then plays, and he comes. Best Friends run out ahead of him, and the Inner Circle bail out of the ring. Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, and the Jungle Boy versus the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Santana Ortiz, Jake Hager, and Sammy Guevara is signed for next week's show. The two sides jaw at each other as the show comes to an end, and they have your post-show link with, I think it was Taz and Tony Schiavone, and this link. There were some wrestlers banged up coming out of last night's brutal Falls Count Anywhere match on AEW Dynamite, which saw the Young Bucks defeat Butcher and Blade. It was noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that the finish saw some of the participants messed up, but there's no word on yet the severity of their injuries. Matt Jackson was said to be pretty messed up after hitting the big diving elbow to put Butcher through the table. The table leg apparently jammed Matt's knee and left him in pain. Nick Jackson was also pretty shaken up after hitting the big swanton dive to put Blade through the table. No word yet on if the Young Bucks, Butcher, or the Blade will miss any ring time, or how severe the injuries might be, but it was noted that Matt, Nick, and the Blade was pretty messed up after the match. Also noted, Darby Allin may have suffered a concussion during last night's Dynamite episode. The latest WWE NXT injury report with Matt Camp featuring updates from the NXT Superstars from this week's episode did not get any link, so I'll just post it. So yeah, give you the link. Following injuries from coming out of this week's NXT episode on USA Network, where they were usually part of the storylines for the most part. Dominic Dijakovic was in a considerable amount of pain following his brutal main event loss to Karrion Kross. He was treated for a variety of injuries by the medical staff, but specifics were not provided. Dijakovic's status was not disclosed, but his status is listed as day-to-day. Robert Stone suffered partially torn ligaments after having his leg ran over by Shotzi Blackheart and her chain. He was injured and put into a walking boot the week before. Timothy Thatcher suffered a hyperextended left arm in the win over Ornay Lorcan. He is still cleared to compete, but is still dealing with pain. Lorcan previously suffered a hyperextended arm at the hands of Thatcher during their Great American Bash match on July 1st, which Thatcher also won. Thatcher will face Finn Balor and Dexter Lumis next Wednesday in a triple threat dance, with the winner earning a spot in a ladder match for the vacant NXT North American title at TakeOver Triple X event. For those that want to know more in detail, the crowd in NXT at the event were wearing masks. The crowd in the talent at AEW were not wearing masks. I only seen one talent. I don't even know if he was a wrestler. He was wearing a mask. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I guess it's at your own discretion, wherever you are now. So I guess you can wear a mask or you don't have to. and see what the penalties are if you don't. Well, thanks again. Peace out. See you on video. Thanks for viewing.